Welcome, everybody. This is Dawn's 2 o'clock class, and it's been 2 weeks since we've been here, and it sure is good to be back with everybody. We are working in Book 274. Today's song is And I Love You So, words and music by Don McLean, and it was actually done in 1970. Now, Perry Como made it famous in 1973, 3 years later. The last of his recordings, reaching number 29 on the Billboard Hot 100, and number one on the Easy Listening chart. Wow. So that was actually pretty good. Now, Elvis Presley also did this one in 75. Did you know that? There's your trivia for the day. Harry Connick Jr. did it in 2009, and Mr. Glenn Campbell did it in 1999. This is Don McLean's best known hit. No, it wasn't. Which one do you think it was? His best known hit was actually
American Pie.
American Pie. Very good. See, you guys know American Pie. This was one of his well-known hits, but his best known hit was American Pie. Some of his other hits were Vincent, Starry, Starry Night, Wonderful Baby, and in 2004, he was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, Mr. Don McLean. His musical influences, who do you think influences the great songwriters? They all had influences. They all grew up listening to music. Okay, so who do you think he was listening to?
Buddy Holly.
Buddy Holly. Who said it?
Holly.
Buddy Holly. Yep. Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra was another one of his influences. And he also listened to a lot of folk music, in particular the Weavers, Weevers, the Weavers. Okay. His album Tapestry. Okay, this is something that I found very familiar. I was writing it so fast I could hardly read my own writing. He had an album called Tapestry. It was rejected by several record companies. How many times do you think it got rejected? I would have quit. 72. 72 times record companies said, nah, that'll never make it. Turned him down. Rejected his album Tapestry 72 times. And this song, And I Love You So, was on that album. But he didn't quit. He just kept on trying and trying and trying and trying and trying. Because this is his passion. This is what he did. I would have quit after one. Yeah, I don't take rejection all that well. But 72 times record label says this is no good. We're not making this one. Oh my God, I can't even imagine. He didn't care. He just kept on writing songs and trying to promote his records, and pretty soon somebody took it, and we are very lucky that they did. All right, so what am I using for And I Love You So? You can do this on several different things. I decided on Love Ballad. At 75, between 72 and 75 beats a minute is good. Okay, or you can do Johnny Chances, or Soft and Easy Guitars. I even did it on Crazy Country. Soft and easy, just about any of them, which means on the smaller instruments, your mellow is going to be fabulous on this. Any of your smooths on your easy instruments, easy 1s, 2s, 4s, 3s, and 10s are going to be fabulous. Any of your smooths. I actually have four different presets that I am using. And I'm going to just play the song, and I'm going to let you mark the places where I'm changing presets. And if you hear anything else, fill it in, write it in, or ask me, and I'll fill it in for you when we're done and let you know. But this is just good listening so that you can actually start to hear things. And the reason I do this now is because if you're listening to an original, here comes Robert. If you're listening to an original on YouTube, you can do the same thing. If you hear something, change of sound, or add harmony or add the bass and drums in here. Write it in where you hear it, and that way when you go back to make your own arrangements on your organ, then you'll already have the notes in according to where it happened on the original. Now you may or may not do what your notes said, but at least you have a clue as to what you think you might want to do. So it's a good listening exercise. All right, and guess what I did for you? I wrote out an intro, and we'll put that up on Patreon. And I actually found two different introductions for this. One of them was actual Don McLean intro. I'm using the one that Perry Como used because his was a very famous arrangement. So the intro I'm using is the Perry Como arrangement introduction. All right, here we go. And I Love You So on Love Ballad. All right, let's start over again. I did memorize this, didn't I? Yes. Okay.
Pretty.
Okay, whoops, I got more people to let in. Okay. All right, so you listened and you heard a couple of things. Now you see that I didn't do a lot of pushing here. I actually did more pushing here, so I could have had presets set up all the way across. I did not do that this time. I just marked in where I wanted to do some changes. I actually used for Love Ballad, what did I use? Preset number 2, up and down, and rhythm preset number 9. On your bigger instruments, that's the vintage 2 and 9. So I started off with bell and vibes and a flugel horn. And then on number 9, I actually had, no. I had guitars, like Hawaiian guitars, and then I had the full orchestral up on the top. But what else did I do? A golden harp. Yes, I did the golden harp when we got to the big part. Yep. So I added that. I just reached up and added that. At one point, I also added a duet harmony.
Yeah, you did. Yep.
And you saw me do some no chords and some drum solos. That was to get from one section to the next. Yep. Okay. What organ is this? This is an Imperial. This is a beautiful Lowry Imperial. Okay, so if you want to know what this is, and I'm sorry I should have announced that at the beginning. Okay, any questions about what I did? And don't tell me how many mistakes did you make, because I made a lot.
None.
No, I did make some, but that's okay. We don't play for perfection, we play for fun. That's because I have that.
It's called none, according to her.
Oh. Okay. You start the introduction with your original. That's Love Ballad with your bells and vibes on the top. And I am putting in some extra chords. So let's get the pencils out and do some chords. All right, your very first C, and I'll give you this is going to be on Patreon, so don't worry about that. Let's just start with what's in the book. C, make it a C major 7. Well, here comes Louise. A C major 7. And that would be C and B, chickens and butterflies. Now, if you want to play B and C, I see nothing. I'm not looking. The D minor, you may play D minor 7 if you wish. C, D, and F. Cross out the D minor 7 in measure 3. See where that is? It's kind of up above. And replace it with a G7, Gorilla 7, which would be F and G. Let's go to line 2. First measure, make that C a C major 7, C and B for 3 counts. Beat 4 in that same measure, so make it at the end of the measure. Put in an E minor, elephant minor, which is E and G, and so you're going to bounce from that to the A minor. Okay, that's it for that line. Let's go to line 3.
Dawn, excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what's happening, but you're coming in and out. I don't know if I'm the only one that's happening to. I'm not hearing you all the time.
Is my sound going crazy for everybody else, or am I
No.
okay?
No,
okay?
your sound's fine.
Okay. Check yourself, check your volume, Connie. See if it's all right.
Okay, I didn't get what you said for the last measure on the first line.
Last measure, line 1. Cross out the D minor 7 that's there and replace it with a G7, Gorilla 7.
Okay. And then what did you, the next line, C?
The second line, make the C a C major 7, C and B for 3 counts, and then beat 4 of the first measure, put in an E minor, elephant minor.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Nope, we're good? Okay. Let's go to line 3. The F chord is good for 2 counts. Beat 3, which is over the F for tell. Put in a D minor or a D minor 7, which would be C, D, and F, dinosaurs and frogs. Your G7 is good. Your C, make it a C major 7. C major 7, which would be C and B, chickens and butterflies. Fourth line, you may put a 7 on the D minor. Now again, cross out that D minor 7 in the second measure and replace it with G7, which is what you did. Same thing on the top line. Gorilla 7. Last measure on the page, make the C a C major 7. C and B, chickens and butterflies, for 3 counts. Beat 4 all the way at the end of the measure. Put in an E minor, elephant minor. Elephant minor. Let's go to the next page. Top line. Let's go all the way to the last measure of the top line. The F chord is good for 2 counts. Beat 3 over the F for the word day. Put in a D minor, dinosaur minor, D and F. Let's go to the next line. Second measure, cross out the C chord. This is the second measure. Beat 3, cross out the C chord and replace it with G, gorilla. Third measure, first beat over the word yes. Now put that C over the word yes. C. For 2 counts. Beat 3, put in a C major 7, C and B. Last measure of that line, this is an optional chord. Over the word no, you may put in a C6, which is a 4-fingered chord, and you must do it in this order. C chicken, E elephant, G gorilla, and A alligator. Now if you don't feel like playing that chord, just play plain old C, because you're going to do that in beat 3 anyway. So beat 3 of that last measure, go to plain old C. So what you're doing is you're doing a real nice chord progression that's going to sound like this. It's all on C. So if you just wanted to play C for those 2 measures, you probably could. Let's go to line 3, second measure. Over that whited in half note, beat 1, put in a G or a G7, which is F and G. Same line, third measure. Over the quarter rest, put in a D minor or a D minor 7. Dinosaur minor, D and F, or C, D and F, if you're putting the 7 in. The next line, no changes. Line 5, cross out the A minor and replace it with plain old C, chicken, for 2 counts. Beat 3, put in a C major 7, C and B, chickens and butterflies. Second measure, over the E dotted half note, put in a C6. Now that again is an optional chord. C, E, G, A for 2 counts, and then beat 3, which is in between the notes, put just a plain old C. So if you don't want to do the C6, don't worry about it. That's optional. Turn the page. First measure, first beat. Over the D for down, put in a G or G7, gorilla 7. Second measure, over the quarter rest, put in a D minor or D minor 7. D and F, dinosaurs and frogs, or C, D and F. Okay, next line, no changes as far as chords go. Third line, over the G for and, put in a C major 7, C and B, chickens and butterflies. If you wish, you may put a 7 on the D minor. And then in the next measure, cross the D minor 7 out and replace it with G7. We've done this twice already before, Gorilla 7. Next line, make the C a C major 7, C and B. Beat 4 of that measure, so all the way at the end of the measure, put in an E minor, E and G. Louise, you're having a tough time staying in. And then we go to the last line. Second measure, play the G or G7 and then do a no chord, N-C. Remember, a no chord is any three consecutive keys in a row. And so if you've got a chord going, it's going to hold on to your drums. But then you're going to play the I don't know, and when you get to the C at the end, make it a C major 7. And yes, that is exactly what I did at the end, is I used the virtuoso while I had the fade. I put the fade button on and just kind of filled it in with a virtuoso.
Excuse me, Dawn,
Yes.
can you repeat the one? Okay, on the fourth line.
Fourth line,
Okay,
make the C at the beginning, make it a C major 7.
right.
Okay, which is C and B.
Yep.
And then beat 4 of that first measure, put in an E minor, E and G.
Okay, you weren't coming in at all. So the
Oh,
first
seriously?
measure, the first measure is a C major 7,
Yes.
and the second measure.
Nope. First measure still. First
Okay.
measure, but the fourth beat.
Okay. What
That's
is
where
that?
you put the E minor.
Okay.
Technically,
Okay, that's it for that line.
I know. Sometimes, technology is a wonderful thing, but something always goes wrong. Okay. Did I change some notes? Actually, I did. So now let's do some. I'm not going to do fingering right now, but I am going to show you where I changed the notes. Let's go back to page 28, the first page. Line 1, third measure. The people ask me how. All right, the C for the word the at the beginning of that phrase, we're going to cross it out and make it a D just a little bit above that C. And that's because I changed the chord.
Oh,
Okay, so I've changed the chord to a G minor, or I'm sorry, a G7. And so the C does not fit that chord. So just cross out the C and make it a D just a little bit above the C. We are going to do that again. Where are we going to do that? Second page, yeah, second or third page. Page 30, third line, third measure. The people ask me how. Same thing. We changed the D minor 7 to a G7, so you want to cross the C out for the word the and change it to a D just a little bit above. Did I do that?
John, excuse me, where
Yes.
is it? You said the second page, third line?
No, it's the third page, third line.
Oh, sorry.
It's the
Third
third, yeah,
page.
no, it's my mistake. Third page,
Oh, okay.
page
And then
30, third
I-
line,
Yeah.
third measure.
Dawn, while you're
Yes.
right there, the first note of that line, the G, what chord did you use there?
C major 7.
C?
C is in chicken, yes.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Yes.
Dawn?
7. Yes.
If you're on the third line of the second page, you're talking about changing a note?
No, I'm not changing any notes on the third line on the second page. I changed a couple of chords there.
Okay,
But-
so far you've only changed one note?
We change a note to D in the third measure on the third line.
on
Not,
the
no,
third-
not on the second page.
third page.
Okay,
Let's go
so
back
far,
and change
30.
notes again, okay? The first page, page 28,
yes.
first line, third measure. Change the C to a D.
Mhm.
Okay, now turn the page. Page 30, third line, third measure, change the C to a D.
Gotcha.
Okay, I think those are the only two places actually. I thought maybe I had done it one other place, but I don't see. I must not have. Nope. That's it. That is it. Okay, now and the rest of it is where did I change the presets? Where did I make changes? Okay,
Dawn,
so
did you
ahead.
add any chords on the very last line?
Yes.
Oh.
yes, last line. I tell them play the G7 and then right after the G7 put an NC, which is a no chord.
Okay.
And then when you do the I don't know, you're going to play the C major 7.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thanks. Got
You're
it.
welcome.
So
Well-
John, you're doing the no chord and I don't. And then you hit the C major.
Right
with-
before. Yeah, you're doing it right before. And if you want to
Right.
take up a lot of time, you may.
Sure.
Oops, what was I doing? I was on this one. You can take as long a time as you want. Because all you're doing is then you're going to fade out. And I'll tell you what makes that virtuoso sound so pretty is the C major 7 chord. Because remember, that's what the virtuoso does. It's doing an arpeggio on the chord that you play. So if I would have just played a regular chord, it would have sounded, and that would have been okay. But with the C major 7, it's way more dramatic. See how pretty that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, the major 7 really makes that virtuoso come to life because it adds that other note. Instead of just doing C, E, G, it's adding a B. Yeah, it just adds some color to that. So that makes the virtuoso at the end really come alive, in my opinion.
John, when you hit the no chord with your left hand using the 3 notes,
Uh-huh.
you didn't have to hold that. Once you hit it, it's there.
No, you touch it, and you're done.
Oh my God, all this time I've been holding it.
You learned one thing today.
I did.
Yeah, it's just like
I'm so excited. I didn't know I could let it go.
a no chord is just like another chord.
Just got out of kindergarten. Okay.
You touch a C, you touch an F, any chord that you play. A no chord is the same thing. You touch it and it just let it do its thing. And the drummer's just going to do its thing.
I was doing the same thing all along.
Yeah.
Keeping my fingers down on the darn
Oh, no,
thing.
you don't have to do that. You just touch it and let it go.
Oh, that's a right.
Cool. You guys learned one thing.
We did.
Dawn,
Yes.
can you review the chords on the second page,
Mhm.
on the second line?
Yes, absolutely. Page 29, second line. Second measure, third beat. Cross out the C and replace it with G, gorilla. Then the third measure, over the E for the word yes, put in a C chicken for 2 counts. Beat 3 of that same measure, put in a C major 7, which is C and B. The last measure of that line, first beat, put in a C6. Now that's an optional chord. If you're not going to play C6, just play plain old C. And then beat 3 of that measure, you're definitely going to play plain old C. Got it?
Beat 3 is where that dot is.
Right.
B3 is pretty much where the dot is, yes. Now I pretty much just do it right in the middle of the line of the measure so that I know that that's the third beat. But yeah, pretty much that's exactly what it is. It's right where the dot is. Time-wise.
The sun's trying to come out. And Dawn, you have to play that C6 in a, excuse me, rut position.
You must put the C on the bottom. 6s, you always have to put the root on the bottom, because if you do not, it's going to become a minor chord, and it's going to sound minor. So a
Ah.
sixth chord, a sixth chord is the only chord that has to be played
Played
in
in
root
root
position.
position.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
And,
You're
and that
welcome.
C6, is that played on the first E or the second E?
It's C, E, G, and A, and it's played on the second E for the word no. I know.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so it's a C, and yes, C major 7, C6, C. How lonely life can be. Okay, so it's just every 2 beats you're changing a chord. Okay. Now, where did I make changes? As far as changing sounds, you can actually do it wherever you feel like it, but I think I did it in the most obvious places. So I started with Bells and Vibes, which was Love Ballad, Rhythm Preset 2, upper keyboard, and my Orchestra Plus was automatically off. But if you want to add that, that's fine with me. That's that's your choice. And you're going to play up to, where did I change it?
Third line.
Third line, you got it. Third line, in between, right after I play, I tell them I don't know, right in between the second and third measure. Then you're going to want to put an L. L means lower. You're going to
Okay.
stay on that same preset, just move your hand to the lower. Don't come straight down, always go the diagonal, because if you come straight down, you run right into your chords. You go from upper to lower, always move that hand down the diagonal. And now you're going to get a nice second sound, which is a Flugel horn on this particular one. And I'm playing that up until, let's see, let's go to page 29. The first line and the first measure and a half of the second line.
Right.
Okay, so right before you do the and yes, you're going to add the golden harp. So pretty much when you play that G chord, then you want to push golden harp and move your hand back up to the upper. And what the golden harp does then, it gives me this. It just fills out the background. Okay, and you're going to do that when you get to line 4,
Dawn,
end of the
I'm
line.
going to interrupt you there.
You
When you go to
most
golden harp,
Yeah.
What I see is number 1, more genius and virtuoso. What do
Just
you
add
hit
more. Just add number 1. Add number 1. I just did the up and down.
Oh, just 1. Okay.
Just play number 1. Yep, because that just
Okay.
gives you, and if you don't have the genius on, it's just a harp sound. The genius would change the sound. I don't want it to change sounds. I want it to be that pretty harp sound. So I just pushed. I just
no
pushed.
genius there.
No genius, just golden harp number 1. Just push up and down. Golden harp
Because
number
your
1.
genius automatically is on, so you got to shut it off.
What's
right?
that? Genius is not
Is it-
automatically on.
It's not?
No. Sometimes it's on because it's choosing a sound for you, but if it's not on, when Genius is not on, it is a harp sound.
Okay.
Okay. So you learned 2 things
Okay.
today. Ooh.
I did. Oh my God.
Now you have to remember them.
Yeah.
I
That's the
know.
thing.
That's a metric. That's
Page
3
29, line 1, 2, 3, 4. At the end of line 4, right before you do the word but, you want to add a duet. So you want to
Where
reach
you
up and add a duet. Now, what keyboard are you playing? You're playing the upper keyboard. So you want to make sure you hit upper duet. Do not hit the lower duet because you're playing on the upper keyboard.
Are you still on preset 2?
I'm still on preset 2, yes.
So you add the duet there at the, and that's it.
The end of line 4, you're just going to reach up and
Right.
add an upper duet.
Okay.
Questions?
Dawn,
Yes.
Dawn, before I start playing, if I go to harmony, upper harmony, and
Uh-huh.
I hit the duet button, and then I turn the harmony off,
Yes.
when I get to it and I turn it on, will it go right to duet?
Yes.
Okay, thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah. Those of you that have to scroll or go into a window to find it, preset it first. And yes, and then turn your harmony off, and then when you touch harmony, it'll go right to the one that you preset.
But you can go
Thank you.
right up to You can go right up to harmony and hit duet, right?
Sometimes some of them don't have that. Some people have a harmony button and they all come up in a screen.
Okay,
Yeah, and if you've got that, make sure duet is touched, so it will go straight to duet. Then turn your harmony button off. Those of you with like an easy 10, same thing. You've got all that stuff in a window. You turn on harmony, and then you have to scroll. Make sure
Okay.
that it's on duet, and then you turn your harmony off, and then when you get to harmony, it should come right up to duet. Yes, good question. Good comment, because you do have to preset those harmonies. All right, so now when you go to page 30, you're at the end of the first ending, line 2. You see the first ending? You've got the bracket, you've got your dots.
yep,
Right there is where I went to rhythm preset 9 and put an L, because you're going to go straight to the lower keyboard. Rhythm preset 9, and you're going to get the guitars on the bottom. Okay?
mm-hmm.
Now it's already on a harmony. Just let it be. You're fine. And you're going to play that now all the way up until the second page, page 29, where you went to the upper keyboard before and put in the golden harp. Same thing. You're going to go to the upper keyboard and you're going to add a golden harp. Just touch that number 1 and move your hand to the upper keyboard. So you're
Where do we turn the golden harp off?
when you go to the next preset, it'll automatically turn off.
Oh, okay.
Ah, yes, yes. So when you go to preset number 9, your golden harp goes off.
Okay. Oh.
Okay.
So that preset number 9 will now take you all the way back to the beginning. Right?
Yes, you're going all the way back to the beginning.
Okay.
If
So you're gonna
using your
play
colors,
that-
make sure you put like pink at the end of the first ending and pink at the beginning of the song.
Okay.
All right. And then
Uh-huh.
you're going to go through and play to the second ending. And you're going to skip the first ending and play the second ending. Now, the cool thing is it's pretty much the same, so you really can't make a mistake. At the end of the second ending, you want to go back to rhythm preset 2, upper keyboard. Go back to rhythm preset 2, upper keyboard. Now, if you're setting up your own presets, that means you would have set up about 8 or 9 different presets.
Yeah, that's
And
what
that's
I would
okay,
be.
you can do that. But as long as you've got a 1-button push, you're okay. It's not that hard. Because you got to reach up and do a 1-button push here too. So as long as you've got them marked and you know where they are, then at the end, you're just going to touch the fade button. Do that C major 7, touch your fade button, and then bring your left hand up while you're holding the note and do your virtuoso. If you don't have a virtuoso, don't worry about it. You could actually hit an ending button and fade it if you want, or just fade it as it is. Or you could actually use the golden harp there and fade it.
I'm just gonna go.
Or you could sing it, yes.
Or see me.
After class. All right. All right, I'm going to play it one more time. Now, I will do fingering. I'm going to wait till the end to do fingering. I'm going to play it again. I want to make sure that you have your markings now all in the correct spots. And guess what? If you don't like my markings or you don't like the love ballad, you don't have to use it. Play it on Johnny Chances and just pick a background, pick a smooth full band and set it at 72 or 75 and play. How does that sound? Yeah. Don't worry too much about it.
Dawn, did you only use 3 preset buttons, 1, 2, and 9?
Actually, I only used 2 and 9. Now, I have myself set up A1 and A2. Okay, I could have just gone to Love Ballad and done 2 and 9, but I set myself up on A1 and 2, and then I decided against doing 100 different presets, so it comes out the same anyway.
John, your intro, was that on 2 or was that, what was that?
That was on preset 2, upper, yes.
Okay.
Yes, you're just going to start with that. And that's all it is. It's just something really easy. Then just go right into your song. And use your fill-ins whenever you feel like it. Now we're going to go to the lower keyboard, so I see my L. Now I'm going to do G and golden harp. Upper keyboard. Now I'm going to reach up and push duet, upper. First ending. Now I'm going to go to the next preset. And the golden harp automatically went off. Now I'm already on lower, so I'm going to stay there. Now I'm going to push golden harp and go back to my upper. I'm not going to add duet because I already have harmony. Second ending. Now I'm going to go back to rhythm preset 2. No chord, and you can wait as long a time as you need. Hit the fade out. Okay, got it.
Awesome.
Did you get your markings right?
Yep.
Yes.
You notice I just used 2 presets, so that's all I did, but I did different things with those presets. And I just went between upper and lower keyboard. I just found, you know, two presets that I liked that had good sounds on upper and lower. And by adding a duet at one point and by adding a golden harp, it made it feel like I had lots more stuff going on, didn't it?
Mhm.
Dawn,
Yes.
on the last page, lines 3 and 4,
Uh-huh.
I did an echo.
Oh. Okay.
After the F, I echoed lower. And
Okay.
then again, after the E on the 4th line, I echoed lower.
Okay. That'll work too. Yes. See, now you're thinking like an arranger.
I'm thinking like you, that scares me.
Whoa. That's good. No, you're thinking of things, and that's a wonderful thing.
Because I
That's
don't have a
okay.
virtuoso.
Woo!
I just learned how to do it on a proper note chord. I don't know.
See, if you learn one thing every time you sit down, you are learning something fabulous, and you are 100% successful. One thing a day, that's what you go for. If you learn 2 or 3, woohoo! Life is good.
Wait, Dawn,
Dawn?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
Would you remind me what is echo?
An echo is when you play a little phrase, and then you have a long note. You go to the lower keyboard, or you go an octave up and play the same thing, because there's a long note there. You just cut that note off and play something else. And you just echo it. Instead of holding the note for 4 counts, you play the same thing over on a different keyboard or an octave up. That's what an echo is.
Dawn,
Yeah.
what you said you had A1 and A2. Was that for your intro that you did?
Yeah, no, A1 and A2, I was going to start to set up all my presets, and I could have just stayed on Love Ballad 2 and 9. It wouldn't have mattered, because that's really all that's there. A1 is basically Love Ballad Rhythm Preset 2. That's it. And A2 is basically Love Ballad Rhythm Preset 9. I was going to do all the changes and make separate presets, and then I decided against it. Or maybe the phone rang or something. Or
Well, I'll probably try and do the presets because I get.
Yeah. But no, you can just go to Love Ballad and use those rhythm presets. Next week, I will do fingering, so stick around for fingering if you need it. Next week, we will do, and this is for people that maybe don't have the book, Candle in the Wind. That's Elton John. Candle in the Wind.
Dawn,
Yes?
I found it easy if I put the note chord on the right touch bar.
Ooh, there you go. There
Yeah.
you go.
Right.
See, you can't do a 3-finger chord, or you don't like doing it. You can always put the note chord someplace else. You can put it into a touch bar. Just be careful. Just be careful that you don't accidentally hit that touch bar at a different time, because then all of a sudden you get the note chord and you go, what happened? So yeah, but you can also you can put that in a touch bar, and that would be nice too. Very nice. Yeah, good suggestion. Anything else? Nope. Okay. For the rest of you, thank you so much for coming. You can go to the beach, have a fabulous day. Go practice
Jane.
And I Love You So. Next week, we'll do Candle in the Wind. For those of you that need fingering, stick around. By the way, anybody that would like to get a little demonstration on the Imperial, stick around after class, because I am doing a little demonstration on the Imperial, and you're welcome to stay. Okay? So if you want to find out everything there is to know about this fabulous instrument, go ahead and stay. All right.
Okay, see you Wednesday.
All
Thank
right,
you. Thank you very much.
guys. All right,
Thank-
here we go with fingering. Now, I did not put fingering on the intro. I think you guys can figure that out for yourself. But let's start with the fingering in the book. G2, A3, B4, C5, F can either be 2 or 1, either one. The D that we changed from a C to a D, that's a 1. F2, G3, A4, B5. The E on the second line can either be a 2 or a 1. Okay, E2, F3, G4, A5, F3. Third line, the E can either be a 2 or a 3, whichever one you're more comfortable with, but the F is going to be a 4, so watch that. F4, E3, D2, C1, G5. Check mark. A check mark means you're going to lift your hand and reposition it. G2, G2, A3, B4, C5. F can either be 2 or 1, whichever one gets there first. How lonely life has been. F2, F2, G3, A4, B5. E can either be 2 or 1, whichever one you like. Let's go to the second page, page 29. C1, E2, F3, G4, A5, F3. The E can either be 2 or 3, whichever one you like. The F is going to be a 4. So if you're doing a 2, watch that. That's a little tricky. E3, D2, C1. Second line C1. Check mark in the rest. At the end of that held C, put a check mark. G1, E5, 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 all the way across. And then line 3. E5, D4, D4, C3, D4. F1, high E5, D4, D4, C3. Line 4, D4, 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 D4. C3, C3. G1, G1. At the end of the line, G1. Last line on the page, E5. E5, 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 D4. D4, C3, and then we change the page. Go to page 30. D4. E5, D4, D4, C3, D4. Second line, C3. And in the second ending, do a C3. Third line, G2, A3, B4, C5. B is either 2 or 1. The D, the one that we changed from the C, is a 1. F2, G3, A4, B5. Fourth line, the E is either a 2 or a 1, whichever one you like. E2, F3, G4. A5, F3. Last line on the page, E2, F3, E2, C1, G4, G4. Question?
Donna, I
Yes.
have the first time you played it
Mhm.
on page 2, fourth line, when you were going from the G, all the G's down there, did you do a finger roll or a glissando or something there?
Oh, I may have. Yeah, I do that every now and
Okay,
then. Like, but I, yeah. Did I do that? Maybe. Yeah.
something, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, you'll see me do that a lot and I don't even think about it. Yeah.
okay.
But
All
that's
right.
good. And if you see something that you like, put it in. Put it in. And finger roll is just, you can just put a little squiggly line between the two notes. And same thing with a glissando. Between the two notes, just put in a little squiggly line.
Okay.
Okay?
Mhm.
That'll just give you a little visual clue. Whoop, that's where I want to do my glissando between two.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Nope.
No?
Perfect.
Okay.
Nope.
I am not
Good.
closing out the meeting today, okay? Because I'm going to be doing, like I said, a little demonstration on the Imperial. If you want to stick around, you are welcome to stay. All right? Otherwise, go play your organ, go to the beach, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you the next time we get
Thank
together, whichever day that may be.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Jen. You're the best.
Bye. No, you guys are the best. Yeah, I'm not gonna leave the meeting, so I'm just gonna check here what I have in the chats. Okay, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. All right. Very cool. All right, so far I have 12 people left. Does that mean that you guys all want to stick around and get a little demonstration? All right, so Mr. Stacy, you are actually now. Where are you? I got to see your face here. I'm gonna put you on gallery view. All right, where's Stacy? Stacy, you don't have your camera on. It says it's on, but I don't see you. Just unmute yourself and tell me that you're there.
Who's this?
Oh, okay. I don't have a picture. I hear you now, but I don't have a picture. You're just a black screen. Okay, as long as I know you're there, we're good. And everybody else that wants to stay, you're welcome to stay. You're welcome to ask questions. But actually, what I am doing is I am doing a little demonstration on the Imperial, and we are actually doing our member appreciation celebration giveaway to win an organ. I'm going to cut off the, let's stop the recording.